What is up, everybody? Another wonderful Monday night of chewing the barbecue fat. Ain't that right, Adam?
Wonderful. Good evening.
I tell you what, man, you made a special appearance tonight. You have been selling chickens and selling and doing and working, and you decided to come on the show tonight and just have a good time with us, right?
Good time.
Man, how you been?
Good. Good. Had a good weekend. We had a great class. They get better and better, I think, every time I went to one. Had an
Man,
awesome pork instructor.
yeah. I'm
Brisket.
telling you, one of the best things. You don't know how to take it. Is it a compliment? Is it a backhanded compliment? You don't know. But when you're cooking with two Hall of Famers and then the best cook in the Southeast, and wow. Um championship game is on the background here. Got somebody come up and say, you know what? It was good to see somebody cook like I do. You're all over the board and you are a cluster, and that's the way I cook. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to roll with that. I think it's a great idea. Hey, we can't all be like just not robots, but like just machines and just killing it. You got to have some of you that just throw things out there and hope for the best. I mean, I don't think I do that. Do you, Adam, or what? You've cooked with me enough to know.
No. It's pretty structured. You people may not think it is, but it's pretty structured. Jimmy keeps them in line.
It's structured enough in my head.
Yeah.
We'll roll with that. But it was a great class. We raised a good bit of money, had a good time. Amazing dinner Friday night. Jason Smoke Central cooked an incredible prime rib and some kind of potato dish that's to die for. Asparagus, Brussels sprouts. Ellen made some macaroni and cheese. Your bride made some of the best cheesecakes around, and some brownies and some pecan bars. It was just an incredible class. Great time. I think a lot of people had a good time and had a lot of fun. So I want to thank you and Tanya. I want to thank Paul and Lynn and Robert and Lex for a great weekend. Hope you can make it next year. We're going to try to make it as good as ever next year and have another good time. Anything else you want to say about the class before we move on?
No, and just thank you all for being there and putting this class on. And it's a lot of knowledge. And thank Triple H for what he does for the Atlanta Barbecue Store and the class. And if you want to talk about some of that real quick.
Yeah, so Bill and Andrea with Triple H, they decided to donate a one-on-one class. And we raffled off tickets, sold out of tickets. It was awesome. And we did a little drawing. We did a live drawing there. It was fun. Scott Hughes was the big winner of the class. And, and then we were raffling off other things. And the very first raffle we give off, Scott wins that one too. It's wild. It was crazy. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. But Bill and Andrea, that's going to be a great class for Scott. It's going to be a lot of fun. Good things. So cool to see what awesome people are doing in barbecue. But and then the other thing that happened this weekend, another touchdown. Another thing that was going on. Hey, you're awesome, Robert. You are awesome.
He made it up.
Yeah, he stayed up. Robert's awesome. There we go. Love it. Thank you, buddy. So apparently that's a big – oh, man, I got to stop rocking. What's up, Jack? How are you? Jamie Mintz, thanks, buddy. But then this weekend, KCBS had sent out an email. I'm sure if you're a KCBS member, you got an email about the special election coming up. Paul Buob messaged us and asked if he could come on and talk about it. So Chewing the Barbecue Fat has always said, KCBS, if you want to come on and chat, we will have you come on and chat, and we'd love to do it. So without further ado, we're going to go and bring on Paul. Look at that. We just talk about it and he shows up. How about that, Paul?
It's kind of like magic.
I know that, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers, and it looks like we're increasing our Notre Dame following on your podcast.
Yeah, as we go, the Notre Dame followers keep going up. I mean, it's great. I was talking to Adam. I was like, do we even have the show with the national championship coming on? And I was like, you know what? Barbecue or college football? Barbecue, college football. Barbecue. Way better with barbecue. So we're going to go ahead and talk barbecue. Like the page, share the page, get this out there to as many people as we can. We want to have a good conversation tonight with Paul and all things KCBS. And there's a lot going on with KCBS. So, Paul, go ahead and explain the email that everybody got this weekend.
Well, I have a unique role in KCBS, not only being on the board, but I was the nomination chair of the committee, which means there's Bill. And, you call Bill's a 101 class. I think it's more like a 350, maybe 400. So yeah, at least when you come out of it. But anyway, but you saw the note said there's going to be a special election. And as nomination chair, that falls on my accountability. And I saw some chatter on Facebook and some of the other social media. And I'm like, I better get out here, get online and just cut everything off, tell them what happened. So the bottom line is I interpreted the bylaws incorrectly. What makes sense isn't necessarily, and I say this wrong, but it made sense that the fourth person coming on, based on the bylaws, we have two sections in the bylaws, 4.02 and 4.08. And if you got into our bylaws, you'll know that a section reads that way. I actually, during the bylaws development, asked this exact question because I worry about everything, if you can imagine. And the conclusion that we had was that you just pull the fourth member up and that's Phil's the chair. But there's also another clause in our bylaws that says as soon as the board falls below 8, we're at 9 members when fully staffed, and when a resignation comes in, we're only at 9, so that means we drop to 8. As soon as you drop to 8, a special election is required to put that 9th person back on the board. So effectively, what I did was incorrect. The office got a call right after the banquet. Somebody said, I don't know that was correct. And Rod got a hold of me, and immediately I said, well, based on what I know, I think it's correct. However, please check with our bylaws consultant. When we developed the new bylaws, we actually had a Missouri nonprofit expert and helping us with the bylaws. And so my thought was, if he tells me we have an issue, we have an issue, right? Because we translated it pretty consistently. And so I went with it. But again, it's my decision and my interpretation. And he gave me a call and said, we need to talk. And I knew, I'm like, okay, this isn't going to be good if we need to talk. So we discussed it, and the correct action is to have the special election. So that's what you saw the note on. Of course, I had to make some phone calls, and they weren't calls I wanted to make, out to Lex and that. And she took it like a champ, as she always would. Deeply apologized personally and on behalf of the board for that incorrect calling. So we're going through a process of getting nominations, getting their questions like you would see on the original, election period.
So we're starting completely over.
For that one spot, correct.
One spot. And is this one spot for a year, or is this for a 3-year term?
It takes over Charlie's vacated spot. So it's a 1-year term. Okay. So yeah, we the kind of the interpretation of the rules is that those people that had already done the homework that finished 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would automatically have a shot to be on the ballot should they accept it. Now they could always say, yeah, I don't want to be on,
What's going on with that? Do you know, have people accepted, declined, or?
Well, there's been, I'll just say, if you read Facebook, you'll see that. I'm probably not going to read off who's declined or not, because as of Wednesday, they could say yes or no again. Okay. So they could change their mind. So I'm gun shy now on communicating too much. But
so there's up until Wednesday, this Wednesday coming up.
Yeah.
for nominations.
Right.
Okay.
Once we get that done, we'll give those folks the questions and, and ask for a picture. We have a social media that's going to post that, and we're going to put it in the bulletin, special election, in the bull sheet. And the election period, I think it's the 27th of January till the 5th of March. So now what frustrates me is that, these things have slowed down our momentum to installing the new board members and getting our strategy session off the ground. So, and that's critical. We didn't have one last year. So, I've worked with the board. We got a strategy session and, do the typical strategy development and work on your strengths and weaknesses and identify special projects. And I'm also going to push that each committee do a post or a town hall, if you will, and just communicate to our membership, here's our finance goals, here's our membership goals here, and communicate what's going on. So really that's what's going on.
So we have till Wednesday to nominate. And then when is the next election?
Yeah. So that's going to be January 27th to February 5th is the actual election period.
And that's the 5th of March.
No. So we're talking in 7 days, the election will start. Okay. And then it will go to February 5th.
And when is this board, the current board, done?
So February 21st is when we meet in Kansas City. And the first action is to install the new board. So that would terminate the existing board that we're not voted in. Okay.
So as of right now, Joel Fleetwood is the president.
Still is the president.
And when is he? Because he's not going to be on the next board.
Yeah, correct.
I guess unless he gets whatever, unless he keeps going. But when is that? So what does that look like?
What do you mean? Are you talking about who's going to be president and all that stuff?
Well, is there a president? Is there going to be a president up until?
Yeah, Joel is still a board member until February 21st.
Until February 21st. Okay. And then the election is on February 5th.
Right. So we'll like we did at the banquet, we had 3 that came in.
Right.
One of them was already a board member, so there's no transition there. 2 of them are new board members that will start effectively February 22nd.
Okay. Now, are they able to go through the process of getting on earlier? Or are they?
Well, we're working on all the paperwork that goes out to them for non-disclosure.
And those 3 were Gene Titus, Donna Fong, and
Luke Darnell. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And they're already there's lots of communication going on already. Keeping them up to date with what's going on and everything. And I've kept them up to date with the nomination process, what's going on. I figured. They're going to be hit right away as an incoming board member. What the hell's going on? So I thought I'd get them up to date.
Yeah, I mean, Callie, look, whatever. It is what it is. I get it. But man, that really does suck that, everything's rocking and rolling and then something happens.
Yeah.
Does somebody make a phone call? Does somebody stop everything? Like what? I mean,
well, any member can call and either send an email or call the office and raise their hand and say, I think there's a process issue or a protocol issue.
Okay.
And that's what happened.
Now, is this in the new bylaws or the old bylaws?
So it's, I wish I could blame it on translation of the new bylaws, but it's the same in both. So it's a Paul error,
Because I know the bylaws passed with flying colors, right?
Oh yeah. It was overwhelming. And unfortunately or fortunately, I guess on how you look at it, there was no change in this portion of the bylaws. I think some of the translation issues come in. Our board could be a board of 15 members, right? Okay. We're currently operating at 9, right? And I think the previous comfortable spot was 12. And I think, 3 or 4 years ago, they reduced it down to 9. And all they have to do is have 2/3 majority of the board, to change the number of seats. Well, the thing I've learned now, and I've chatted with a couple of people, incoming and on the board, is flying at 9 is precarious because as soon as you drop below 9, you have to have a special election. In the previous, as you read the bylaws, it says, or wait till the next general election period. Well, that's if you're running at 12 and somebody steps down, or you're at 10 and you go to 9, you can wait till the next election because you're at 9 or above. But as soon as you drop below 9, you have to have a special election. And that's exactly where we're at.
I got you.
Yeah. It's a kind of a, collusion of things and happening at the same time. And to be honest with you, I was, Charlie pulled me aside and I was like, what? Didn't see that coming, right? It came out of the blue.
Right.
So, and let me be clear. I love Charlie. He did a great job for KCBS. He's going to continue to do a great job. No ill feeling on that. It's just, it's just one of those things, sequence and timing and my translation. So, but if you let me, I'll jump onto some more fun things than the special election. We can stay there if you got questions.
Yeah. If anybody got any questions about it, let me know. Love to ask. We got people on here that can answer it. So that's good. So I see David's on here talking about, we got a stalemate. It's been a long time since the boards met. So nothing's really happened since December.
Well, yeah, actually, Joel, knowing that we had the banquet and the election coming on, thought that rather than try to press the timeline to get them in and get the meeting, we'd already scheduled the 21st for a strategy meeting. So Joel went ahead and postponed the January meeting and made it a February one. So,
Wes, there's no reason to be hateful. It's okay. We don't hate anybody around here, Wes. We are a friendly show here on Chewing the Barbecue Fat.
Yeah.
He's talking about, I'm sorry, not you. He's talking to Nick.
Yeah, Nick said something about Ohio State. I guess they're playing in a game tonight too.
Who knows, right? Who knows? That looked like it was going to be a good game. Real quick, before we get too far off task, it looked like Notre Dame comes in, scores early, and then they haven't been able to do much. We'll see what's going on. So we've got the special election. We've got I know Lex is running again. She was the one that was the fourth number, or number 4, and she's the one that's been affected through this, I guess, and so have others. It's just, I know Charlie Brenza, he was like, yeah, I got a year left, and he's doing what he can to help and everything else, and here we are. It seems like I don't know, it sucks, but we're gonna move on, see what else you got.
So the World Invitational.
Yes.
This will be KCBS's largest hosted event in our history.
Nice.
So we know we grew when we went to Lebanon. We grew considerably. And I know Jason and Eric are saying we can grow even bigger. They're out there. They're our biggest cheerleaders there. And certainly what they do is immeasurable for KCBS at that venue. But the Friday night, so on Friday night, there's going to be a one meat chicken. There's going to be a world championship chicken burn, world championship rib burn. There's also going to be dessert ancillary and an anything but on Friday night. So we've loaded up Friday night. We also on Saturday are having a people's choice. So you're going to see the ability to do that. But the reason this is all going on is we're turning this into a public event, and Brian, you know what that's all about. You turned yours into a pretty big public event with People's Choice. We're doing the same thing. We're learning from what you guys have done. We're learning from what, they've done Smoking the Shores. We're going to have live entertainment on Saturday, music. We're going to have a barbecue village.
Let's back up a second. Let's back up before you.
Yep.
Where's it at? When is it? How do you sign up? What do you do?
So, yeah, you can tell I'm not a marketing guy. So it's in Lebanon, Tennessee. The Memorial Day weekend, which is you're gonna come in on the 22nd. Teams will probably load in on the 22nd, Thursday, and it goes through Sunday on the 26th, where we have the invitational and backyard invitational on Sunday. Saturday's the Wells Cup, which is the open, we call that. And then we're going to have People's Choice on Saturday because the public will be there on Saturday. So we've expanded our footprint in Lebanon to house this. We're taking on more buildings. We're investing a lot more in this event, but we're going to get the public there. That's the real key.
That is the goal. That is the challenge, as you'll see and you'll find, is how do you get people to show up? And to me, if you've heard me say over and over again, it's a barbecue competition. Maybe make it be about barbecue. Do as much as you can about barbecue. Get as many barbecue related events there. So I love what you're doing. Try to do some food demonstrations, right?
Yeah.
Like get somebody like an Adam to go up there. I'm sure he's competing in it because he's a freaking champ. But have somebody like that that can go and cook food and give food away to the public. Do demonstrations. Do as much as you can for the people to come in and have something to experience barbecue.
Yeah, the barbecue village will be made up of, sponsors coming in to talk about products. We do plan to have on the main stage demonstrations and talking about that. So we are, to steal from another Memphis event, we're going to try and look a lot like that. And of course, we're talking about Memphis in May. No, we're talking about the, what's the event I went to this year in, was it West Memphis there? That was
Smoke Slam.
No, it wasn't that one. It was the KCBS contest. First time I was there this year. And memory's the third thing that goes, but what's the contest that it's the Davis Invitational, right?
Oh yeah.
Razorback Invitational.
Yeah, the Razorback Invitational, that event there. We're trying to steal off of that. That's what we're trying to do. Not the other Memphis event.
Springfest. Chelsea came in right away. She knew.
Yeah.
She knew what you're talking about.
Yeah.
South Haven, Springfest.
That was good when I saw those shirts come out.
What's up, Howard Kelly? Good to see you, bud. South Haven Springfest. There you go. I mean, I'm telling you what, it's good to see good barbecue. KCBS trying to put on a big event and have fun, right? Like, and I think it's like, I'm just going to change gears just a little bit, and seeing KCBS put on a contest as an organizer, it's going to be one of those things of like, I think you'll see the differences. Like, what is KCBS actual role in a contest and what is not their role in a contest, right? Like, I mean, what you're going to see is, as organizers, you got to do a lot of work more so than what KCBS can do and can offer. You can't just put a KCBS sticker on it and expect people to show up, right? Like there is an organizational side of it to try to bring people in and have something to do, which I think is great.
Yeah, the registrations are open, by the way. So,
I signed up tonight.
Yep, everything's open. Judges is open, so you can, if you want to judge, you want to do that. You want to cook the open, the invitational, come on out for that. You want to sign up for the Burns on Friday night, become a world rib champion. So we plan to grow that, and then we're going to have the largest pop-up store we've ever had. So our foundational benefit. And Brian, I certainly appreciate your support of that. Charles made sure that I mention you and your support. So, but we will benefit in every aspect, right? And, our mission is to, build barbecue through, communication and demos and preserve the barbecue sport. So
that's that. I have a question, and Paul, we're friends. I know you, right? Like we're buddies. I'm not, but not that I'm not with a lot of people, but I'm, what is the vision of KCBS?
Well, that's what we're going to come out with, a revised vision on the 22nd. I will argue that I think we've been a bit rudderless, right? We didn't sit down last year due to schedules and conflict. We didn't come together as a board and do a strategy session. And I felt it, right? It took longer for me to get to know the board members. I knew them, but I didn't know them, and how the boardroom works. So this year, that's one of the items we're going to come out with and direct it for. There's lots of of things we planted that we hope to, sow this year, even in the new bylaws, there is the ability to have a temporary membership, because it was very defined, what we could have, the types of membership we could offer. And I'll get to the point. So imagine where you have trouble with a county and doing a people's choice because they want every team to get a food license or something like that, right? Well, we now have the capability. I didn't say we built it yet, but we could create a temporary membership. So you could use like Eventbrite and sign up to be a temporary KCBS member. None of that's been designed. That's part of that whole visioning and ideation and all that. But the capability is now there in the new bylaws so that you could join KCBS for 30 days, for example, right? And we'd probably have a couple questions. What are you interested in? I just want the food for the people's choice. Okay. I want to look at pits. I want to talk about whatever. A couple of questions, more of a beginning of a CRM process, right? To find out why are people, because we all know people come to barbecue contests, the public's there and they're confused. Like, well, there's no barbecue, there's this, right? We got to harness that, right? So, we plan to have IP tours at this one, but at the World Invitational. But now, by building that in, we have the capability to create a temporary membership. And Brian, if you wanted to do it that way, I'm not saying you need to change anything, but if you had trouble with a county you're in and they want every team to have a food license, well, that's prohibitive. Now, the potential, you can see how this could happen, is that you wouldn't need a license because we're serving judges. Some are permanent judges called, CBJs, and now we have temporary judges for people's choice. So we've created an umbrella over us to allow us to get through some of those areas. Now, there's work to be done to do that. That's part of the actions we got to talk about. Where do we prioritize that? And growing membership, right? We're going to have a committee on that. What are the things we're going to do?
I understand all that. That's great. And as I've talked to some other people on the board, whatever, and me personally as an organizer, don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah.
I want KCBS as far away from people's choice as I can possibly have it. I don't want them telling me anything to do what I've got to do with my people's choice. That's my way of raising money.
Yeah.
That's not, that's just me as an organizer. You're there. I hired KCBS to come and judge my barbecue contest, not have anything to do with us raising money. Because that's the way people's choice is all about, raising money. That's the purpose of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody
cares who wins people's choice. The public wants to know who they're trying, what they're doing with it, and everything else. But I think it's great. I love what you're trying to do. I love where the mind's at. I think it's great. As a member, Adam and I, we talk every day. And something we've discussed multiple times is I just hope the board comes in with a vision. Like you hear it every year in the election.
Members come in with a vision. Absolutely.
Right. But every person that comes in is like, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change that. I don't like this. I don't like that. And then at the end of the day, we're at the same place. So I just hope, and Adam and I have discussed this multiple times, really hope that the board can come together and work on a common cause instead of trying to work in 18 different directions or 9 different directions and not get anything done. No. Right? Like I can't wait to hear what the vision of KCBS is, because I've talked to multiple people, right? And it's all different. Everybody's got their different things, and I know it's capable. I know it's going to be good. The people that are on the board, right? Great.
Yeah, it's really getting the conductor to orchestrate the music to be harmonious, right? Instead of all over the place, and then you really don't have music, right?
Right.
And that's what we're talking. That's why I'm leaning so heavy to this meeting on the 22nd to get everybody in. And we've got homework to be done too. Okay. Right. So not only to the sitting board members, but to the incoming board members, we got to get, we can send them the homework for strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, threats, and do a lot of that. So we can optimize that time on the 22nd. So, but, and I did, West was in a class that I was in, and I complimented him on the, was it the November? I think it might have been a late November, your late November podcast. And at the 25-minute mark, I think it was, I sent that to
I hate it when y'all do that to me. I'm like, I don't know what I said. What did I do?
It was exactly what you're talking about now. And I think everyone was on the same page, is that everybody comes in with these ideas, but yet we don't get the outcomes from, we don't hear. And so, I still love you, West. But anyway, but the thought, I thought, I want the board to hear that. So I sent that as homework out to the board to go listen to that. And not that it's left, it's right. It's off center. It's that members are not hearing what we're doing or where we're going, period. So we're not communicating, or at least if we are, we're not effective at it. So that's really and I wanted everybody on the board to hear that, because that's why when I told you we get down to that strategy session, I want each committee to come out and do like a town hall. I don't know logistics on it, but anytime you make something public, like, hey guys, here's my plan for enabling people's choice. You just heard me go into my vision for people's choice. The bylaws now enable it. We'll have to have a little bit of technology to have that. There's probably a couple of questions we want to ask, right? But now, how do we take that to organizers that need it, right? You don't need it.
100%.
We got contests in Illinois that get charged $75 a team to do people's choice. You can't go down, $1,500 to start your people's choice. Right. So, I mean, again, these are just, you're trying to help fill potholes in the execution, right, to have more contests.
And what I love, personally, who am I? I'm a nobody, right? Adam, I'm just a guy up here that likes to talk and ramble, right? Yeah. But, to me, give organizers a best practice of what can be done, right? Yeah. Help organizers in the best way possible. I think Wes, your buddy Wes, is like, we need to get back to growth mode. And what is growth mode? To me, growth mode is 100% finding organizers. Golly, here we go. Finding organizers and helping organizers be successful in having more and more contests, right? Like right now, I love to talk about the good old days, right? Back in the day when it seemed like KCBS was really doing well was when regions were doing well. Like when I in Georgia had 20-something contests in Georgia, and I didn't have to go to Mississippi or other places to go cook. You in Illinois, you didn't have to drive down to other places to get your cooks. Adam and I were talking about it today. He cooked 17 contests. Adam, where all did you cook this year?
From here to Virginia to Kansas City.
Right? I mean, all over.
Yep.
You hit Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, or not Texas, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. I think you went to West Virginia, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah.
And then Kansas City. There's no reason for that, right? Like we should be able to cook in Georgia 20-something times. You should be able to cook in Illinois 15, 20 times, right? Like we shouldn't have to crisscross the country to go make this happen. And I think it can be done. I don't know how it can be done, but I do think that the regions, if we can have points chases in the region to make it to where somebody wants to cook in Georgia, we lost a lot of teams in Georgia when they had to drive 4 or 5 hours to a contest instead of 2 or 3 hours. Yeah. And I don't know how you do it. All I know is back in the day when things were good, you you know what? You didn't care if it was a qualifier for the Jack or the American Royal because 80, 90, 80 or 85% of the teams, if they won, they weren't going to the Royal anyway. They weren't going to go to the Jack anyway. Right? Like, and I say it all the time, KCBS is going after the points chasers. And when KCBS does best is when they don't focus on the team of the year points chasers, in my opinion.
I think what I've noticed, and mind you, my first contest is 2016. What I've noticed is we used to have a lot of teams that cooked 2 contests, 3 contests a year, and they were all within a 40-minute radius of that contest. I'm not seeing those teams anymore.
Right.
At least not in Illinois.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what you're looking at, right? Like, I mean, you got to go all over. And I do feel like for most part, the contests that are making it are the good contests, right? The ones that do a good job, the ones that are putting on a show, having fun, giving the cook something to go do. If they don't do that, the contest.
How do we get some of these older contests to come back too after they've quit? Is another thing. How does KCBS contact, like where we used to have a contest in Atlanta? How do we contact them to get them to try to start their contest back?
Yeah, I mean, so I can, like here in Illinois, we had Lincoln, Illinois, and we had Belvedere, Illinois, and those organizers just ran out of juice, and there was nobody to take over. So to me, that's leadership and attrition. You know, they had the recipe and they were successful, but you know, one person was doing way too much work, and just eventually it broke. Right? They said, "I'm not doing this anymore." So, I mean, that's a tough one. You know, that hurts the worst, right? Because you have a recipe that works. You just need more people to come in and do it. I think we also probably got to we got to look at modifying the product is what I also think we got to do. You know, and I think it was Tuffy at the banquet said, how do you attract 41-year-olds to come do this? And I think his point was, you know, when you're 18, 19, 20, you may have the ability to cook a rib burn or, you know, some small events, but you can't drop 1,200, 2,000 a weekend. And then, you know, when they do have the money, it's going to be about in their late 30s to 40s, depending on their lifestyle. So how do we get them to back is where Tuffy was at. And I think part of the issue is we got to create attractive options to people before 40. So when they turn 40, if you will, that we have that. So what's this? Yeah. So, I mean, obviously that's been a conversation that we've had with them. It's ongoing. I think we on KCBS all know the pain of the 25. But I think if you look at where the Jack is at, you know, they have a menu of spots and they fill them every year. So I don't know. It's a shared pain is my position. Right. So if they were in pain, I imagine they'd probably come to us and say something, but it is something we're working on. I know there's been communication on that exact subject, and it's continued to be something we're pushing for. I just don't have any final status on that.
Fred, y'all have so many cook teams in Texas. You can get 50 just by blinking your eyes. It's so easy down there in Texas.
Yeah. How would you like
really
flip the deck on Texas? They got what, 300 teams to get one shot at one bung,
right?
You know, or at least one sanctioning bung. So maybe there's 3 bungs coming out of Texas. But
I was 100% joking.
Yeah, no, I mean I look at that and think, yeah, they got a lot of teams down there, and you know, and that's another religion down there as well. But man, for the Jack, it's worse, right? In Illinois, all I got to do is beat Janky. All I got to do is beat Triple H. All I got to do is beat Rusty Pig. All I got to do is beat the barbecue bus, and then I get a shot at a bung.
Right. I mean, oh, I love this. All right, KCBS needs to understand the roadblocks for organizers and competition in certain areas and make changes to eliminate or reduce those roadblocks, whether it's for fees or competition structure. Yeah, I think fees is the biggest thing. Lowering the standard is not the answer. I don't know what the answer is. I think that the best thing is discussion.
Yeah.
Right. Like discussion. Have these conversations. Talk about it. Don't let screw it. Don't let some of the people that have been on the board and been doing this forever and ever and ever continue to run what KCBS does. There's some people in there that needs to just be gone. That doesn't need to have. There's some people that have zero interest in competition barbecue. They would rather cook pizzas, and they're running this thing. How? Can't be done. We need to eventually look at some of this stuff and be like, let's move out. Let's not let these people do what they're doing, because it's harming barbecue. It's harming competition barbecue. And I don't understand.
I think I don't have the absolute answer. And I think we need a committee to focus on the membership growth, come up with the top 3 ideas and pilot number 1. report back to us on that, and and keep trying to do things to grow the sport. I don't know that the good old days of the Master Series being the leader of the pack, when we broke it out to backyard, while we made it nice for people to get started, we also cut out potential Masters teams because there's teams just happy staying in the backyard. Now, I'm not going to fault them, right? But, we got to look at our product is what I think, and we got to make it more attractive to people to come out and just get involved, right? Because, you get a burger call and you win a burger contest, somebody just set a hook.
Yeah.
Somebody just, I
don't care what it is.
Yeah. You hear your name called.
Yeah, you got the sight of the day, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I got my name called to this thing. People are clapping for me. This is awesome. Let's do it again, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's so cool to see, and I mean, I love it. I'm not sitting here saying we need to do any kind of changes or any of this or any of that. That's not my goal, Paul, and you know that. That's not what I'm pushing here. I just love the fact that we're having conversations, right? Like that is, to me, the biggest growth that I've seen is that there's willing to be more conversations. I do feel like there for a while, it was a very closed door, standoffish kind of deal. And I say all the time, whatever. The KCBS reps are the face of KCBS. 100%. The judges know them. The cooks know them. Everybody knows them. And I think we need to do as much as we can to elevate reps and KCBS, because there are some reps that don't know what's going on within KCBS. If a team were to go ask them what's happening, they don't always necessarily know that answer. And to me, that's kind of, I don't know if that's a great thing or not, right? Because there's a lot of teams that only know, I'm just going to say Wayne and Rachel Harper, because they're our reps, right? That's my reps. And they don't know that Gene and Charlie were both board members when they came to rep our contest this year. Nobody really knew that, other than the guys that cook a lot and the guys that are really into barbecue. So I would love to see the reps get a little bit more, I don't want to say training. I don't know if they necessarily need more training, but more like, hey, y'all are the face, right? Like, don't be afraid.
You had a majority of the board at your contest. Did you know that?
I know that, right? Like, I know that, but not everybody else does. Adam and I know.
As tired as I was after cooking world food, there's the thought, Paul, you can just call and cancel. You're only out a few bucks, and you'll get some sleep. But the trophies. Those trophies. Yeah, no, I'm coming for a trophy. So yeah, you got it right with the trophies, man.
Yeah. And trophies are huge. Like, right. Like that's what we hear about all the time is trophies. Y'all's trophies are awesome. We're calling today. We're already starting for the 2025 Chewing the Barbecue Fat Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic, right? Like we're getting working on it because we expect to have a good contest this year. And we want to make sure that we do everything we can to ensure that we have a good, awesome contest. But anyway, let's see. Adam, you got anything? Let me read a comment if you have anything, Adam, if you do or not.
So how does once y'all get the board, y'all choose a president? Is that how that works?
Yeah. So the meeting will be called to order, and we'll take nominations for president. That's the first action of that board. And then there's a vote, and could be a second vote, could be a third vote, but eventually a president comes out. And from there, the president takes over the meeting, okay? Because it's actually Rod that opens the meeting, and then that elected president will take over, and we'll go through the vice president, the treasury, basically the officer positions, and then we'll go into committees, right? So like nomination committee, rules committee, et cetera. So that's the business, the immediate business. And that's the officers, the new inboard officers will be then onboarded at that time as well. So we get that taken care of. And then in this case, on the 21st, hopefully we'll get that done, break for dinner, and then come back in the morning for the full strategy session. So.
Chad, I couldn't agree more. Chad, thank you so much for all y'all have done for the Atlanta Barbecue Store, the Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic Class, Jarvis Foundation, everything. Cordy Meats is absolutely incredible. If you need somewhere to buy meats, they are the place to go. Cannot recommend them enough. Great people. The whole Cordy family is awesome. Jay LaBello is awesome. Love everything about those guys. They're awesome. Thank you so much for everything. That was just a little commercial there for them. I want to thank Snake River Farms also for great briskets this weekend at our class. But yeah. Speaking of presidents, we have a new president today. You know what? Great thing. Great inauguration day. I'll cook a 2014 contest with cool trophies anytime, qualifier or not. Yeah. And I understand what Wes is saying. I understand what Bill's saying. I get the whole thing going back and forth. I know they're just two guys, friends going back and forth with all this stuff. I love it. Nobody read into anything. And I agree. Like, you hear it all the time. People, as an organizer, how many teams do you have cooking? Like, I hear it all the time. How many teams do you have cooking? We're blessed. Thank the Lord. We're blessed that we're a max qualifier contest most of the time, right? Like, so we're good with all that. But you do hear all the time, how many teams do you have? And then teams won't sign up. So, I mean, it's as much on the teams as it is anything else. Just go cook. And I get it. We all want to go to the Jack. We all want to go to the Royal. No, we all don't. The Jack is something I think that people are, because that's so hard to get into. You got to win, and then you got to win again, right? Like, you got to win. Like, winning is just going to the Jack. I say it all the time. If you got your bung pulled, congratulations, you won. You made it to the Jack. Now go have fun and go cook, because they're going to celebrate you as cooks, right? American Royal, congratulations, you made it. Now your work has begun. You got to go cook and try to win. Great question. Paul, welcome to Chewing the Barbecue Fat. I know you did not plan on coming on doing all this. And if I stirred the pot, I did not mean to. I'm sorry. I love KCBS. You know that. I want the best for KCBS, and I will do anything and everything I can to help. How does KCBS plan to find and engage new organizers to plan new competitions?
You want an answer for that, huh?
No, I'm just asking the question. We don't have to. We can. And
let me pause, though. Jason has been a tremendous help.
Oh, great guy.
In every sense of the word. I mean, not just World Invitational. I lean on him on positions and things like that. Now, mind you, he's been on the board, so he's got a firsthand knowledge of what goes on or what doesn't go on. So, yeah, I mean, you know, his drumbeat, his guidance on what we're doing in the World Invitational has been huge. So, but, you know, and that's a great question. What is our marketing plan? I guess is why I would say that. What's our marketing plan for growth, right? Do we actually have a number of contests we desire to be at in 2025? Did we set a goal? And then where did we say we want to grow? What area? I mean, to me, these are things we need to do. You can have a great vision or mission, right? But if you don't make it actionable, right? So KCBS would like to grow contest in the Northeast, whatever, or the mid-South, whatever, pick it, right? And then you got to break that down and come up with some actions, right? But ultimately to that point. But so the number one thing is to sit down and set a goal, right? And then to measure that goal. And then, you know, come back and as soon as we set that goal, tell our audiences, right? I remember something that we did at Caterpillar. It was the Pacific Institute. I don't know if anybody ever heard of them, or Lou Tice. It was all about motivation and bringing out the best you could be. And he had two kids on he was a football coach in Seattle. Okay. And he had two kids that are going to get kicked off the team because they were going to have a big fight. And, you know, they were top in the state. And so instead of that, he offered to have a boxing match between the two kids, right? And he said, we're going to sell $10 a ticket. And they raised like $1,500 to this boxing match. It's a week before the boxing match. He doesn't have a ring. He doesn't have boxing gloves. He doesn't have a location. And he said, that didn't bother me. But I told people we're doing this, and people came to me and helped me because I told them what I was trying to do. And they had a successful event. But if I'd waited till I found a ring, a boxing gloves and all that, it never would have happened. And that's an example of the things we got to do is we got to set these goals. And we got to talk about it to our membership. And our sponsors and our organizers are with our membership. They're neighbors of our membership. They're all around us, so I to your point, and that's why I bookmarked that point in your podcast. Yeah. The communicate. We don't hear it. We don't see it.
Right.
And regardless of whatever it is, that's it. Right. We got to do those things, but we got to be bold enough to set some goals.
Well, that is, to me personally, that's what I want to hear. Right. Like, we got to come in together and have a vision. Like, and that's part of that vision is how are we going to do that? What are we going to do? And that's what I love to hear. I don't expect you to have any, personally, I don't expect you to have all the answers. I don't think you should have all the answers because
God bless
in my way of thinking, you're one of 9, right? Or 8 or whatever the number is. I don't know. You're not the guy. And nobody is the guy. Rod is not the guy. Joel is not the guy. It's a group coming together to have, in my opinion, when we have problems is when you're trying to do something, Thomas is trying to do something, Gene is trying to do something, Randy Todd is trying to do something. The list goes on, right? Any single board member is trying to do something on their own instead of coming together. And I think if the board will come together and come up with a vision, and it sounds like that's what y'all are trying to do with this vision, the vision chat on the 22nd or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. And then I hope that information is portrayed to the rest. Y'all are always, you're always welcome to come. And you might not want to come back on the show. I don't know. But you're always welcome here.
I'll have to check Wes's vacation plans.
Yeah. David Qualls is welcome to come here.
Yeah.
Anybody is welcome to come. Y'all know that. Like I want KCBS. I firmly believe that KCBS is the sanctioning body for barbecue. The biggest, baddest one there is. Yes, as I've said before, it's got some chinks in the armor, but it's still the biggest, baddest one there is. And I'm a fan. That's all I cook. I host a contest. I'm going this weekend. Adam and I are going this weekend to become judges.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to go into a judge class in Greenwood, South Carolina. It's going to be great. And Tanya is too, Adam, his wife. And I can't wait, right? Like I love, and I cannot wait to hear what this judges class is like, right? Like I can't wait to see what it is.
You know who your instructor is?
Mm-hmm. Adam, you know who it is? Adam got me into this. So I think it's the Bigglers.
Bigglers, yeah, the Bigglers.
Yeah. Carol and Randy, sure.
Yeah, and I think Alan Rothrock has something to do with it, possibly, maybe.
Sounds right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
and then some teams got the back end to cook for you, or teams.
Yeah, I have no clue who's cooking.
I tell you what, guys, if you want to learn how to challenge yourself,
Thank you, Wes.
you want to how to challenge yourself, go cook for a CBJ class, right? Because the class is structured to test the measurement system.
Yeah.
As a cook, you want to turn in 9s, right? They want to test measurement system. So guess what? They want not 9s, right?
Yeah.
So, Paul, would you mind messing this up? What? What are you doing?
Sounds like I'm perfect for that, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the guy.
Yeah. It's an interesting class. And, when you first do it as a cook, it's like, wow, we can do so much better than this. But the answer isn't, if you want to test a measurement system, you don't test a yardstick by only using it on feet. You go down, you got to measure everything. So that's what they're going to do. So remember, what you're going to witness is by design.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. That makes 100% sense. And
you're going to see some boxes that you're going to go, whoa.
Yeah, I don't even know who's cooking the class. Do you?
I don't have a clue. A clue. I've asked. I didn't get an answer.
Thank them in advance. Trust me, guys. They're going to go through hell. because they're going to have to lower their standard, and they don't want to do that. I know it.
So are they there? So will we see them cooking, or like?
They'll be out back. Yeah, they'll be out back.
I can't wait. I'm excited about it. I've always wanted to do it. Never really had an opportunity to. I didn't think I was going to be able to go to this one because we just had our class and there's a lot going on. And fortunate enough to be able to get signed up, go out there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I love Greenwood, the city of Greenwood. They do a great contest. Everything they do is top notch. I'm sure they're going to do a great job with this. But I can't wait. And yeah. Jason, I could not agree more. I've told Childs, I've told anybody, like, if you need anything for people to ask, not that I'm great, not that I'm a good organizer, but I can help. I can do whatever to give people the opportunity to grow and expand and be awesome at it. But,
yeah, Childs and his team have come up with a organizer's handbook. I don't know if you've seen that. Not that you need it, Brian, but I don't know.
No, I do. I don't. You know, we need as much help as possible. The thing for us, I'm very fortunate, right? Like we know a lot of the organizers. This show has introduced me to a lot of everything. Board members, organizers, cooks, judges, reps. We've been blessed to know a lot of people throughout this and been able to walk through a lot of things with them. So I've been able to talk and figure things out. I talked to Jason Cole this morning for a while. I mean, we both are in packaging, so most of the talk was about boxes and fun stuff like that. But we did talk barbecue too, right?
So I can get competitive bids from you guys.
yeah, for sure. And speaking of contest, I talked to Jim Lloyd today. I told him that I would push Sip and Swine. Sip and Swine, I think the backyard side is sold out, but they still have room for pro teams. So anybody on the fence about cooking Sip and Swine, it is a great contest here in Georgia. March 6th, 7th,
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th. Great contest. Go to their website, sipandswine.com, get signed up. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's always a great contest. They have a ton of people, great music, tons of vendors, and they're going to do awesome.
They're going to have the banquet again down there on that. You know, they had a banquet last year.
No.
So Southeastern SB, whatever it is, Southeastern Barbecue Championships. They're doing it. They've taken that over. So that the banquet, Adam,
in April, the first weekend in April, I think.
Adam won it, so he's all over.
Yeah, he won the good teams. I won the bad teams.
I tell you what, this guy Paul, he can cook.
Yeah,
I mean it is impressive. I've been fortunate enough to cook with him a couple times. God,
he rolled over me a couple times. Then he borrowed a can from me and beat me with my own can.
It's not a shocker. I mean, that guy. There is not much that Adam and Tanya can't do in barbecue.
Yeah,
it's great. So back to all that board. Let's get rid of all that boring board stuff. KCBS Invitational coming up.
Yep.
It's the same location that Jason Cole's
Lebanon, Tennessee. Yep.
Local on the shores. You
May
can go to
22nd
Nashville
to the 26th.
Say that again.
May 22nd to 26th, Memorial Day
weekend. How
weekend.
can you sign up?
Yep.
How
registrations online at KCBS. Go out to the events. Pull up May 21st. You'll find it. First one up there. If you're a judge, get in there now because you know that'll fill up. And we're going to need more judges, especially for the Friday night event. So there is more opportunity for judges, but it will still fill up.
Oh, yeah.
And then same thing for backyard. I think this is going to attract a lot more of the backyards because now, instead of just having a chance to cook the open if you didn't get into the invitational, you can do the Friday night rib burn, chicken burn, cook Saturday. You got a lot of chances to become a champion.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Anything else you want to talk about?
Notre Dame just scored.
They scored. They're trying to make it a comeback.
It's a comeback. Yeah, no, there's not much more. I just want to come on and make sure because again, rather than try to get on and post on Facebook, which is always for every post you put, you get 2 or 3 the other way. So I'd rather just come out and say it's my fault, right? Take the accountability.
How is it your fault? I don't think it's your fault.
No, it was my translation. So
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure everybody understood there was no intent there.
Oh, I don't.
And
Yes.
We got an expert to review it. So once he said it was that way, and you got to do what you got to do now.
And voting starts January 27th.
27th
till February 5th.
February 5th.
You got until the 22nd to nominate people.
Yep. Wednesday is the end of the nomination period.
Okay. And that list will come out when?
Probably that Friday, because we're going to send them questions and a picture.
Okay.
So probably that Friday. Well, I'd say Monday. Probably come out that Monday. The office isn't going to work overtime on Friday.
And then what's the best way to find out who the nominees are?
They'll be posted on our website, and probably going to send an email out with the special election notice. I'm pretty certain we'll send several of them.
Perfect. So check your emails.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. Once we find out everything, we can do whatever we need to do here on Chewing the Barbecue Fat to get as much information out as possible and as quickly as possible. And look, Paul, Adam, we love KCBS, don't we? We talk about it all the time. That's what we love to do. We want to see the best for it. By no means are we whatever. We're just trying to have a communication, and I love the fact that you are willing to come on here and talk about it, and I do appreciate it.
Not a problem, buddy. Anytime.
Adam, you got anything else?
That's about it for me.
That's about it. Alan's been selling chickens all day, so he's tired. Well, guys, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful night, and we will see you next week on Chewing the Barbecue Fat. Have a good one, everybody.